Hello again. Well, unless we never met before, then it's just hello. Well, anyway, we're here to demonstrate our new wrestling game. For now, we just call it Wrestling Roll. And here's how it works. This miniature representation is designed to be a replica of a wrestling ring when looking from the top downward. And what we did, we took a 5x5 grid, and we realized when you do the math, there are 21 different combinations when you can roll a standard pair of dice. So what we did, we put a representation of each combination in 21 of the squares, with the four corner squares being neutral, or they technically won't count in the use of the game. Okay, since I've hidden long enough, which my ex-wives, which I continue to hide, but anyway. This is how the concept's going to work. We're going to demonstrate several different versions of the game. It's going to be a multi-game board, but we figured, why not use the fun of wrestling without trying to get yourself hurt? Which reminds me of my ex-wives too, but anyway. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and use this board and show you how we play the various versions of our wrestling roll game. Let's go to the action. All right. I know you can't see me right now, but that's okay. I'm not that beautiful. Okay, so here's how we're going to do the one-player version of the game. There again, you can see, as Vanna White would demonstrate, this is the board with the 21 spaces on there. I need to get better glue to stick them, I know. Now, here's how it's going to work. What we're about to demonstrate is the one-player version with my ugly socks and everything. And what we'll do, I'll sit like this so it's not as ugly for everybody. Okay, in the one-player version, the way you play the game is this. You simply roll the dice, which I'll do, I think, over here somewhere where it's more in camera range, so I'll move the chips over. And the concept is, with one-player version, to roll the dice. And every time you roll a certain combination, we'll cover the corresponding combination on the board. So here we go, assuming this doesn't roll under the board. And right there we got 1 and 5. So 1 and 5 we're going to cover up right there. Alright? Alright, let's try another combination. 3 and 6. Okay, so we're going to cover that up. Now, in order to win the game, what you have to do is get 3 in a row, either up and down, across, or in some form of the capital letter L, whether it's like this, or upside down, where it's in another direction. So those are the ways you have to try to win the game. But the key is, in one-player version, you keep rolling until you either make a three-way combination that we just demonstrated, or until you re-roll a combination that's already been covered. If you do that, you lose the game, and the game is over. So let's roll again. 5 and 5. So there we go. So we're on our way to trying to make a combination. Let's see what we got now. 4 and 6, which I believe is over here. All right. Yeah, sorry. One of the dice went under the dang table. I knew that was going to end up editing all that out. We'll see. All right, next we have 3 and 4, which is over here. All right, so we got a couple ways we can win if we get the right number. Let's see. 3 and 5, which I think, it's over here, so we got a winner. We got a winner. We didn't roll that after all. So here it makes the shape of a capital letter L, or it's you fans of geometry out there, making a 90-degree angle. So in this version, at least in the one-player version of the game, you would have won. So let's clear the board and we'll do it again. Let's see if I lose this time. So let's see. All right, 4 and 5. 4 and 5. We'll cover that one up. Once again, in one play, and really all the versions that we play, all the corners are neutral. Obviously, you can tell that they don't have a combination in the corner, and you're not allowed to use them in the course of the game. So they stay neutral. All right, next is 2 and 5. 2 and 5, which is right there. All right, next we got 2 and 4 right there. So we're pretty close in making a combination. Anyway, while we're doing this, because I always lose my dice. Anyway, while we're doing this, when we did a demo of this off the air, we played the game 20 times and was only able to win 4 times. So it's not as easy as it looks. Next we have 2 and 5, which I just rolled. So because we just rolled 2 and 5 and already have it covered, I lose the game. The next thing we're going to demonstrate will be two-player version, one-on-one. And of course, by the law of averages, eventually somebody's got to win that version. The same principle, the first person to get three in a row, across, down, or in the shape of the letter L, is going to be the winner. Now, here's the difference. When you play two-player version, the rule we have is this. If you roll a combination that you've already rolled and you already occupy that space, well, you simply lose your turn. So that space will stay there. But if you roll a combination that your opponent has already covered, you get to take over that space. So that's the way we play two-player version. So let's get going. All right, player one has double sixes, so we'll cover that space for player one. All right, next player two's turn. That's really hard to say. All right, 3 and 3, 3 and 3. So I'll use the red chips for player two. All right, here we go back to player one, 2 and 6, which is right there. All right, back to player two. And it figures. I knew it. I gotta build something under these things so they don't go under the board anymore. Tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna put this back over here to protect it. All right, that ought to help out a little bit. Hopefully y'all can still see the dice. All right, player two gets 5 and 5. So we'll put that right there. All right, now player one, the black spaces, got 2 and 5. Okay, so they get that space, so they're close to making a three-way combination. Okay, and player two, 5 and 6. So they get that chip. So far, no takeovers yet. All right, player one, 2 and 4. And player one wins. They got 3 in a row. All right, so player one wins that round. Ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell. The next thing we're going to demonstrate will be two-player version, one-on-one. And of course, by the law of averages, eventually somebody's got to win that version. The same principle, the first person to get three in a row, across, down, or in the shape of the letter L, is going to be the winner. Now, here's the difference. When you play two-player version, the rule we have is this. If you roll a combination that you've already rolled and you already occupy that space, well, you simply lose your turn. So that space will stay there. But if you roll a combination that your opponent has already covered, you get to take over that space. So that's the way we play two-player version. So let's get going. All right, player one has double sixes, so we'll cover that space for player one. All right, next player two's turn. That's really hard to say. All right, 3 and 3, 3 and 3. So I'll use the red chips for player two. All right, here we go back to player one, 2 and 6, which is right there. All right, back to player two. And it figures. I knew it. I gotta build something under these things so they don't go under the board anymore. Tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna put this back over here to protect it. All right, that ought to help out a little bit. Hopefully y'all can still see the dice. All right, player two gets 5 and 5. So we'll put that right there. All right, now player one, the black spaces, got 2 and 5. Okay, so they get that space, so they're close to making a three-way combination. Okay, and player two, 5 and 6. So they get that chip. So far, no takeovers yet. All right, player one, 2 and 4. And player one wins. They got 3 in a row. All right, so player one wins that round. Ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell. All right, let's try it one more time, the second demo. All right, so this time we'll start with the red chip. I'll call them red and black this time. So red has 4 and 5. So we'll take over that space. All right, black chip, 5 and 6, so they get that spot. All right, red gets 1 and 6. All right, so they get that spot. Hopefully in this round somebody will take over a chip, take over a space. 2 and 3 for the on black. All right, now the red player's turn. 3 and 4, 3 and 4. So they're close to a couple ways of getting a 90-degree angle or a capital L angle to win the game. All right, black has 4 and 4. So they have a chance to win now going this way. All right, red player, 5 and 6. Okay, this is good. Now, currently, the black player occupies that chip. So under the rules of one-on-one or two-player version, red gets to take over the spot. And now, even though they have 3 diagonals, under our rules, you can't win diagonally. So let's go with one back to black. Black's turn, they got 1 and 5, so they occupy this chip. Okay, red's turn. Red's turn. 2 and 6 for red. 2 and 6 right there. No, they don't have a combination yet, but they're getting close. All right, black's turn. See what black got. 2 and 3. All right, 2 and 3. Okay, black already occupies that space, so it stays neutral. They stay as is. Red's turn. Red's turn, and forgive me, it went under my sock. 3 and 5. Red has 3 and 5, which is over here. Still no combinations. All right, let's see if black can take over a spot. Black's turn. 1 and 6. 1 and 6. Okay, so because red occupies that space, black now gets to take it over, but they still don't have a winning combination. All right, let's go to red. Red's turn. Red has 1 and 4, which is way over here. Well, this is a long match here. Back and forth wrestling, the way everybody likes it. Red has 3 and 4. I'm sorry, black, excuse me. Black has 3 and 4, and they currently, red occupies that space, so black gets to take it over, but still no combination. All right, red's turn. Could have a couple of victories in here somewhere. Red, and it fell into trough. That's okay. 1 and 3. So red occupies it up here. Long match. All right. 2 and 3 for black, which they already occupy. So no change there. Let's go back to red. Red has 1 and 1, but still no combination yet. No combination yet. Let's go back to black. Black has 2 and 4. Yeah, so no combinations. It's getting interesting. Red's turn. 2 and 6 is already occupied by the red, so that goes neutral. That stays put. Red, no harm, no foul. Black, 4 and 5. All right. So black gets to take over that space, but still no winning combination. None yet. We're close, but we don't have that 3-way connection yet. All right, red's turn. Red's turn. 6 and 5 or 5 and 6. Red already occupies that space, so no harm, no foul. All right, back to black. 2 and 3. Well, they already occupy that. So let's try it again, assuming these darn things don't keep slipping away from me. Okay, so back to red. 2 and 2. All right, red gets that space, but still no combination. No combination. Let's go back to black. Black has 2 and 3, which they already occupy. We'll win eventually. All right, red has 2 and 4, so they get to take over that spot and they win the match. 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. That's why we emphasize 3 in a row in this game to simulate a pinfall. 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. There's a sample right there of one-on-one or two-player version. Now also too, this concept will be the same if you want to play what I call tag team version or even 6-man tag, where if you have a team of 2 or a team of 3 going up against another team of 2 or team of 3, it would be the same principle back and forth, but you would also alternate turns within the team. So player 1 red, then player 1 black, player 2 red, player 2 black, player 3 red, player 3 black. And also too, Let's do a little imagination for a moment, if you don't mind. Let's pretend that we did make a 3 in a row combination. All right, after the bell part of the game, assuming y'all want to try this, because it'd be interesting to see how many times you could roll the dice after winning without re-rolling a combination. So let's give that a try. When we tested it earlier, out of the 21 spaces, we were able to get as many as 10 spaces covered before we got a re-roll. So right now we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's see how far we can do it. 2 and 6, nope, we didn't go very far. But anyway, that's another way you can play the game as well after you already made the 3-way combination. Now, there's another version we were putting together. I call it the Battle Royal version, where you can have as many people play as you want, but the objective is to try to whittle those number of people down to eventually 2 or 3 people. And I'll explain how that works. Okay, let's say you have more than 3 people, anywhere from, let's say, 4 to maybe 20, somewhere in there. Wow, we've already been videoing this for 19 minutes. Wow. Okay. In the Battle Royal version, you really don't need the board game for the preliminary part of it. If you watch Battle Royals, you know the objective is to throw people over the top rope until you have 1 person left. So let's play pretend for a little bit. All right, let's say we have maybe a dozen people that are playing the game. Well, the first form of elimination, do something very simple, where the odds will be not many people will be eliminated right away. So one thing we came up with was basically rolling just 1 dice. Okay, just 1 dice. And let's randomly use the number 6. Okay? So in the first round of the Battle Royal, anybody who rolls a 6 is eliminated. So if you roll 1 through 5, then you're not eliminated. Okay, that's one sample. Then as you go further into the Battle Royal, you can pick 2 numbers when rolling a single dice. Let's say 5 and 6. If anybody rolls a 5 or a 6 in the second part of it, then they're eliminated. And then we do other things. So we kind of did some math about this earlier, about what the odds of somebody rolling a certain combination. So while I'm talking, what I'm going to do is grab my notes, assuming I don't knock the dang on camera down. Okay, and all right, here we go. So for example, we just gave you 2 ways of how somebody could be preliminary eliminated in the Battle Royal version of the game. Here's some other games you can do, or some other ideas to eliminate somebody from the round. Then the odds can go up. For example, well, 1 out of 6 is pretty high if you get a 6. For example, there's a 1 out of 7 chance that you could roll a 7. All right, so what you can do in one round of the Battle Royal, if anybody rolls a 7, they're eliminated. And then let's say the odds, for example, the odds of you getting doubles, or the percentage chance of you getting doubles, is 28.6%. So in the later round, you can say, okay, if you roll doubles, you're eliminated. And then eventually the key will be is to work it down to 2 to 3 people to play the final round. All right, so now let's imagine we're now down to 3 people. Okay, now what you'll do is with 3 people left in the Battle Royal, is you roll a dice to determine who would go first. Like player 1 would go first if we roll a 1 or a 2. Player 2 would go first if you roll a 3 or a 4. And player 3 would go first if you roll a 5 or a 6. So let's do that right now. Okay, 3. All right, so we rolled a 3. That means player 2 would go first. So it would be player 2, player 3, and then player 1. All right, now here's how we do the Battle Royal version when we get down to the final 3, or the final 2, depending on how the numbers fall in the preliminaries. Okay, what the people will do, in that order, they will take turns rolling the dice. All right, so let's do player 2 right now. Player 2 rolls the dice, and they get a 2 and a 5. So this will be their space. All right, now player 3's turn is coming up. If player 3 rolls a combination that's occupied by any of her opponents, she's eliminated. That will be the equivalent of being thrown out. Okay? Now, another rule we have in the Battle Royal version is if a person rolls a combination that they already occupy, then that chip will be removed. Okay, and it'll go back to being open again. So that's part of the strategy. All right, so let's do player 3. Player 3's turn in the Battle Royal. 4 and 6. So let's cover 4 and 6 for player 3. All right, player 1's turn. 2 and 3. So that belongs to player 1 now. All right, so we're going to go back. So in this version, it's not important to make the three-way connection. It's just important to stay in the game. All right, now we go back to player 2. Player 2, 3 and 6, which is not occupied, so they get that spot. All right, let's go back to player 3. Player 3, 4 and 6, which they already occupy. So by rule in the Battle Royal, they're not eliminated. They're not eliminated, but their space goes back to neutral. Okay, just understand that. Here we go. Player 1. Player 1's turn. 3 and 5, which is over here. All right, now we go back to player 2. All right, here we go. Player 2, 1 and 6, which is, I'm sorry, I lose track sometimes. There we go. All right, now player 3, the white chips. Player 3 is 1 and 6. Okay, so based on what I just told y'all, player 3 rolled 1 and 6, which is already occupied by player 2. So by the rules, player 3 is thrown out the ring. So they're out of the game now. All right, so now we go to player 1. It's now player 1 and player 2. It's all that's left in the game. Okay, player 1 has rolled a 1 and a 4. Okay, player 2 has rolled a 3 and a 5, which player 1 already occupies. So by the rules we just stated, player 2 is now out of the contest because they landed on a chip occupied by their opponent. So player 1 would be the winner in our version of the Battle Royal. All right? So hopefully that was very explanatory. But just in case, we're going to do another round. All right. So let's say once again we have 6 people playing in the Battle Royal. All right. So based on odds and based on some math I did earlier, what we're going to do is the first round of the Battle Royal will be pretty simple. We'll do the one, okay, we'll do this version. All right, so if you have 6 people, and let's say, based on the numbers we did, the odds of you getting a 7 is 14.3%. So we're going to let each person go on their own. All right, so player 1. Player 1 has rolled a 7. So player 1 is already eliminated from the Battle Royal. Okay? So let's do player 2. Player 2, a 1 and a 4. So player 2 is still in the contest. Player 3 rolled an 8. So they're still in the contest. Player 4 has rolled a 7. So they're eliminated from the Battle Royal. Alright. Player 5 has rolled a 9. They're still in it. And finally, player 6 has rolled a 9. They're still in it. Now, for simplicity's sake, what we'll do is we'll renumber these players down to 4. So 2 people were eliminated because they rolled 7. All right, so now we're in the second part of the Battle Royal. People are still duking it out. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to roll a single dice. And it's real simple. Whoever rolls a 6 is going to be eliminated. Okay, so we're down to 4 players. We're going to renumber them 1 to 4. So let's go to player 1. Player 1 rolls a 3. They're still in it. Player 2 rolls a 2. They're still in it. Player 3 rolls a 2. They still in it. Player 4, whoops, that won't count. That was too high. Has a 5. So they're still in it. All right, now, so we're still at 4. All right, according to my math, what we'll do now is we'll use both dice. There's a 28.6% chance someone could get doubles. So in this third stage of the Battle Royal with 4 players left, we're going to see who comes up with doubles. Player 1, 2 and a 3, they're still in the game. Player 2, 2 and 3, they're still in the game. All right, player 3, 3 and 5, they're still in the game. Player 4, they rolled snake eyes, so they're eliminated from the contest. All right. So now we're down to 3 players. So since we're down to 2 or 3 players, we now go back to this version of the game, what I just told y'all. And now we're going to decide who goes first. All right, we're going to roll the dice. It's a 3, so that means player 2 will go first. Once again, a 1 or a 2, the first player would go. At 3 or a 4, the second player goes first. 5 or 6, the third player goes first. So we're going to go in order 2, 3, 1. So if it was 3 that would have gone first, it would have been player 3, then 1, then 2. Sort of a roundabout, or a friend of mine used to call like a rotisserie version of 1, 2, 3. All right, so player 2 is going first. All right. All right, they get a 1 and a 2. So I tell you what, player 2 made a blue. All right, now we're going to player 3. Player 3 rolls this combination. They're eliminated from the battle royal. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. All right, now we go to player 1. Player 1. 1 and 5. Okay. All right, player 2. Player 2. 5 and 5. All right, player 3. 3 and 6, which is right there. All right, player 1. Once again, in this version, the Battle Royal version, making a 3-way connection is not important. Player 1, 1 and 3. Player 2 has a 2 and a 2. Still in there. And remember, if a player re-rolls their own combination, the space becomes vacant. They're not kicked out of the game. All right, player 3, 1 and a 4, which is right here. All right, player 1. Player 1, 5 and 5. Well, 5 and 5 is already occupied by player 2. So since player 1 rolled the spot occupied by player 2, 1 is out of the battle royal. All right, now we're going to player 2. Player 2 has rolled a 3 and a 6. Look at that. That's already occupied by player 3. So because of that, player 2, they're out of the battle royal, and player 3 is the winner. And there you have it. That is how we play the various games that we've created so far involving, like I said, what you can call wrestling dice or wrestling roll wrestling. We'll eventually come up with a better title for it. Well, anyway, thanks for stopping by and enjoying our demo on wrestling dice, roll wrestling, wrestling roll, whatever we're going to end up calling it. And here's the magic board where hopefully we'll be able to set up some better ring posts on it in the future. But thanks again for stopping by and watching the contest. And as always, we'll get with you down the road.